talks classic rock. Q1043.
James Murray, affectionately known by gazillions of his fans throughout the globe as Murr, is with us here at Q104.3. And we thank you so much. It's such a horrid morning, and here you are, smiling and in a good mood.
It is so good to see you guys again. It's been way too long, and this was so important to me that I made sure I was on time. I slept in a hotel last night in the city to make sure I was here on time this morning.
And we thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm just going to send the bill right to the station, and then you guys just let me know when I can.
Okay, real quick before we get into the meat of the matter, this is just because of our common first name.
Yes.
All right, James.
Yes, Jim.
I was never referred to as James ever in my life except by angry school teachers who would call me James.
Yeah.
You know, it would be James. And then one very good friend of mine from Brooklyn who for some bizarre reason just decided that I was James.
Sure.
So he's the only person who calls me that. Were you James or were you Jim?
I was always James to my family and close friends. I had one or two friends that called me Jim, but starting early in high school, it was Murr. You know, all my high school friends, the guys included, just switched to Murr.
But there's only one Murr, so that works so well. You were destined.
I knew then when they nicknamed me that it was destiny to be Murr from Impractical Jokers.
Right.
30 years ago.
Well, the fact is that you're a writer and a producer and an actor, and you've got Impractical Jokers and your comedy group, The Tenderloins.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mentioned earlier this morning when I was talking to Shelley that you're kind of a Renaissance person.
Thank you.
You don't fit into any categories or boxes. You're just a person who seems to be able to do whatever he's interested in well.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. I'm a hell of a gardener, too.
Really?
We grow everything.
We're going to have a garden off because I have a garden too.
Do you?
Yes.
What do you grow?
At the moment, tomatoes, cabbage, a lot of spices. My green peppers are still going. Just pulled some spinach, lots of lettuce, romaine, best romaine. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli. How about you, Murr?
I'm not exaggerating. And feel free to tune out if this gets boring to you at home. But
and garlic.
And garlic, of course.
Of course.
With no exaggeration, I grow corn, string beans, carrots, cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, plum tomatoes, onions, basil, sweet potatoes, sweet peppers, bell peppers, pumpkins, gourds, lettuce, spinach, rosemary, basil, thyme, oregano, celery.
Celery? You got to tell me about the celery
in my
off
backyard. Pinot Grigio grapes, blueberries. Oh, man. I'm missing some.
I am so jealous.
Zucchini.
And the blueberries in the corn are so difficult to pull off.
You had me at corn.
And avocado. I have an avocado tree growing inside the house.
You don't.
Yeah.
You are lying. You cannot have an avocado tree in this
Guys,
area.
this is the kind of stuff you can expect from me, Murr from Impractical Jokers, right here on Q104.3.
But that's real?
Yes, it's crazy.
Except for the avocado.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but the corn.
Yeah, that's hard to grow.
Is fantastic. It grows so good.
Yeah,
We're
but Jersey
expanding.
corn is the most delicious, succulent,
It is.
awesome corn on earth.
Yes, I agree. Next time I come in, I'll bring some corn.
Oh, no, we're coming over.
All right.
Oh, no, you're not coming in. We're coming over.
That's fine with me.
So you have, and I have it in my hand now, a brand new novel.
Yes, indeed.
It's The Stowaway.
Uh-huh.
And it's about a cruise ship serial killer.
Ooh.
Yes.
Look at the cover.
I love coming in here to hang out with you guys. Honestly, you are some of my favorite people.
Wow.
I love the style and energy of this.
Wait a minute. I see a movie already.
That's the plan always.
Right?
Yeah. We just got an email on Friday about someone who wants to develop into a movie.
Okay, now you wrote the novel along with your friend Darren.
Yes.
All right. Now, writing a novel and writing a screenplay, two completely different things.
Yes.
Do you have as your goal to do both?
Yeah, yes and no. The novels are meant to be adapted into screenplays. They're written in a very cinematic way. The Don't Move is the last one we had come out last year. It's a creature feature kind of book about a church group from the Bronx that wanders into the wrong woods of West Virginia, and all hell breaks loose, as you can imagine. That one was just written into a screenplay, which is great. I had my hand in the screenplay. I didn't do the majority of the writing. I did the polishing of it. But this one is meant to be one, too. If you want to know the summary out there listening at home, The Stowaway is about a woman named Maria Fontana, who is the head of psychology at Columbia University. She's also the juror on the trial of the century, a serial killer case, a gentleman named Wyatt Butler, who's been accused of horrifically murdering a number of innocent children. She can't find it in herself to vote him guilty. He goes free. 2 years later, she's on a transatlantic cruise with her 2 children and her fiancé. Halfway across the Atlantic, 3 days in any direction from land or help, kids start disappearing on the boat on the same way they did on the case 2 years earlier. Ooh. And she's the only one with the details of that case that can stop the killer. Is he on board? Is it a copycat or something far more nefarious? And only she has the knowledge and intel and skills to stop him before he kills again.
That sounds exciting.
That's a movie.
That's difficult when you do children, though.
Yeah, but you have
That's the scariest, to a parent. That's the worst.
But you have to. You see, you just gave us a summary.
Yeah.
But all of that had to come from inside your brain.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to sit there and say, okay, I wanna create a story, and then all of that detail has to be generated by you inside. And that woman, the Columbia professor, who could not find it in her heart to find this person guilty because of whatever doubt she may have experienced as a result of the evidence that was presented at the trial. That woman, you had to create her personality, how she would react to things, not just in the courtroom, but how she would react in the future, a couple of years later when she was on board this cruise ship. All of that had to come from within, and it had to be coherent and presented in a way that people could follow along. That just seems to me to be such an extraordinary artistic challenge.
Is she based on someone?
Just a strong character. There's a great twist at the end that will surprise you. That was in there about her character all along, and you didn't realize. The best kind of twist, I think, in a book or movie is one that is completely motivated and was always in there, and you, as an audience member, as a reader, just assumed something you shouldn't have that we never said. Right, and when it comes back at the end, you're like, yes.
You had to place that in there.
It's very carefully written. And when you see the twist, you're like, of course. And that is why I love her character, because it's all about her character and how strong she is.
It's just I'm trying to understand the whole process for the art of the novel.
Are you thinking of writing a novel, Jim?
I can't write fiction. I'm a decent writer if I'm writing nonfiction, if I'm writing about something that's true.
You don't think you could sit down and write a novel? I think you absolutely could. Why not?
No, I couldn't write a novel.
They say everybody has a book in them.
That's right.
A book and a song.
That's right.
I can't write a song either.
They say.
But I mean, you've topped the New York Times bestseller list.
We hit number 1 on the international bestseller list, the Sunday Times, with our first book, The Stowaway, and have hit a number of other bestseller lists around the country as well.
Wow! Congrats. Did you go to college?
Yes.
I'm just wondering about you as a student.
I have a degree in writing from Georgetown. Yeah.
Really?
Georgetown University.
There you go.
So
good
you're
school
a good
in Washington.
student.
I was a good student, but I was the valedictorian, then salutatorian, then
I was the
Georgetown.
Were you really?
Then 4.0 average at Georgetown, graduated, blah, blah, blah. Q. Dropped out of college, worked as a toll booth collector for a while. Him and I make the exact same amount of money. So
but
if you're there at home, education ain't all that's cracked up to be.
But Q was an FDNY.
He was,
and
for 8
that
years.
rocks and rules. Sorry, Murr.
Yeah. He's also more handsome than I am, with a much better head of hair too. So
and he spent 8 years saving people's lives.
He literally has saved people's lives.
Running into burning buildings.
Yes, I did none of that. Yes, he's so what does the schooling have to do with anything? Nothing.
It's 21 past 8 o'clock at the Q, and Murr is with us. James Murray, author of the great new book, The Stowaway, published by St. Martin's Press. But that's not all. First of all, let's take a quick look back at this pandemic period that we've been in. You released your feature film, Impractical Jokers, the movie, just as the entire planet Earth shut down.
We nailed that timing. It
was you. You were the hex.
We were the last cruise to come back into port in Florida, the Joker's cruise last year, and then they shut the whole port down because of the pandemic. So we closed down the cruise industry and the film industry back to back.
Yeah, you were actually, it opened in
power.
theaters.
It did.
It opened in theaters, and then that was
it. We had 2 weeks in theaters. A lot of marquees around the country still say Impractical Jokers, the movie, because they never reopened.
Well, look at the publicity.
There you go. There you go.
But I mean, so you had that.
We had that. We had 2 weeks, and that's
you had
better
that.
than I could have planned.
By the way, the movie streams on HBO Max.
It does.
But then you also, in the midst of a gigantically huge pandemic, you got married.
Yeah, I tried to time all these things together. Yeah. I was like, when's a good time to get married? Yeah, I got married 1 year ago at the height of the pandemic, but it worked out. She said yes. The most important people were there. We got to, we were only, of course, had a wedding a quarter of the size of the original plan.
Right, and it was outdoors.
It was outdoors. So we got to eliminate all the BS third and fourth cousins from coming to the wedding.
That's nice.
It worked out great.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
That's well, valedictorian.
And we still got to go on
Georgetown.
our honeymoon, too, so that worked out.
Oh, where'd you go?
We went to the Maldives, which was...
okay.
I never thought I would get married in my life, but all my life, for over a decade, I've always wanted to go to this one specific resort. It's one of those kind of over-the-water bungalow kind of places, that you see on in ads, what have you. And I always had my heart set on one place. And when I first started dating Melissa, I gave her a picture of that and said, one day I'm going to take you here. And I never thought I'd go there.
That's how you wooed her.
I never thought I would go there because I said, if I ever get married, I'll go there. But I never thought I'd get married. And I met her, and I gave her a picture and said, I'm going to take you there one day. And I did.
How did you meet?
We met at my first book launch 4 years ago, at when my first book came out. Talk about choices, right? I decided in 2004 to write a novel, spent a year writing it. I couldn't get anyone to read it. We weren't famous. We were on TV. I had no agent, nobody. And it sat on my computer for 15 years until Jokers, our fan base, how amazing they are, sent the same book into HarperCollins. They bought the trilogy. It led to my book launch where I met my now wife. Crazy.
Wow, meant to be.
Right?
Beshert is the Yiddish word for that.
Okay, so when you wrote the first book of the trilogy,
Yeah.
so how old were you?
In 2004, I would have been, I graduated college in 98, so that's 6 years later. You graduate college when you're 22, so 28.
Okay, so young guy in your 20s.
Yeah, handsome guy.
And you wrote a
around town.
novel already.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It just sat on my computer. I didn't write it. I wrote it, but it didn't come out.
Still. And when you were in grade school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A comedian.
Ah.
Yeah, comedian.
So you made people
And I failed
laugh.
at that, so I decided to become a writer.
Who was your favorite?
I was. We are one of the coolest moments of our life is that we are now friends with the Zucker brothers, who made Airplane, The Naked Gun. They're dear, dear friends of ours, and they watch Impractical Jokers, and that is one of the coolest moments of my life.
Well, there was an interview recently in which Airplane was discussed.
Yo, sure, in the New York Post.
And there are some people who have objections to the film even being shown today because of scenes that upset current sensibilities, like the Jive Talk scene.
Yep.
And it was explained by Mr. Zucker that the joke was that the interpreter was the whitest person on the entire planet Earth.
What's his
Mrs.
name
Cleaver.
from Mrs. Cleaver? Yeah.
Yeah. But it must be at times difficult to write comedy when there seems to be almost organized groups of people who are, parsing every word, looking to be offended.
Yeah. The article written by Zucker was really well written and super funny, too. It was great. Our job is just to try to make people laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not rocket science. We just try to make people laugh. So we kind of stay out of all that kind of nonsense.
I understand that, but making people laugh just
Sometimes
seems to be
you-
more difficult today.
Or to
You
make 'em cry.
inadvertently step in it when you don't think you're stepping in it.
Well, that's why I'm switching to thrillers.
It's a lot more socially acceptable serial killers
That's right.
and
Yeah.
disappearing children on cruise ships.
No, it's true.
Now, the Misery Index is what, Tuesday nights?
Yes, but that
10:30
doesn't start again until next year.
On TBS. Okay,
Yeah.
but that'll be back. Impractical Jokers.
Season 10 is next year. We start filming season 10.
Okay,
Wow.
that's on True TV.
Yeah. I'm performing this Thursday night at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport. I do a whole bunch of Murr live shows where I kind of tour the country. I got Spokane coming up and Tacoma and San Francisco we're about to announce and Sacramento and all over the country. And this Thursday I'm at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay, which will be good for our Fairfield County friends.
There you
But
go.
what about here?
Here,
Get booked, will you?
I will. It's a big country, Jim.
I know.
I'll get back here.
I know. But
I'll get back here.
I know, but this is the biggest population center.
Bridgeport is close. Get on the train. It's right there.
He makes a good point.
He does. Okay. The Stowaway. From the international best-selling authors James S. Murray and Darren, is it Wearmouth or Wearmouth?
Weirmouth.
Wearmouth.
Yeah.
The one way I didn't say it.
Yeah.
We did an interview last year. They had us on like what they call these satellite TV tours, right? Where it's him and I in front of a green screen, and every 6 minutes they cue in another TV station around the country. They beam us via satellite live in the air, right? So there's a big satellite TV tour, and this one interviewer in San Diego kept calling Darren Werewolf, not sarcastically, not just purely accidentally. The whole interview, it was so funny.
Okay, well, I just want to do the shameless plug. Listen, that's the sound of the book. It's the Stowaway, St. Martin's Press, James Murray. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Thank you,
good to see you
Murr.
guys. For no other station would I have come in and stayed at a hotel overnight just because of you guys and how cool you are. And we love coming here. You know that for many, many years now.
Well, thank you.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.